Welcome to Wheelock's Latin, Chapter 3. In this chapter, we'll learn about the second declension masculine. I have two sample nouns, amicus, amici, masculine, and puer, pueri, masculine. The second declension also includes some neuter nouns, like donum, doni, neuter. The form endings for the neuter are slightly different from the endings from the masculine, and we will learn those in Chapter 4. Let's also look at our sample adjective, magnus, magna, magnum. As I mentioned before, magnus is the masculine nominative singular. Those endings follow the second declension, which we'll be learning in this chapter. Magna is the feminine nominative singular. Those endings follow the first declension, which we learned in the previous chapter. Magnum is the neuter nominative singular. Those endings also follow the second declension, and we'll be learning those variations in Chapter 4. So for now, let's look at amicus. The stem is amic, to which we'll add the second declension masculine endings. Amicus, amici, amico, amicum, amico, amica, amici, amicorum, amicis, amicos, amicis, and amici. If we want to modify amicus with an adjective, since amicus is masculine, we must choose the masculine adjective magnus. Magnus is also second declension, so we can use the endings we just learned. Amicus magnus, amici magni, amico magno, amicum magnum, amico magno, amicam magne, amici magni, amicorum magnorum, amicis magnis, amicos magnos, amicis magnis, and amici magni. For our other sample noun, puer, it does not use the us in the nominative singular. Instead, for nouns that end in er, there is no ending for the nominative singular. It's just puer. The remaining forms look the same except for the vocative. So we have puer, pueri, puero, puerum, puero, and then for the vocative, just puer. For the nominative plural, pueri, then puerorum, pueris, pueros, pueris, pueri. There's another slight variation of this format with nouns like ager, agri, also masculine. You'll notice that puer, pueri had the er in all forms of the noun. Ager, agri, on the other hand, loses the e in all forms except for the nominative and vocative singular. So we have ager, and then after that the stem is agr. Agri, agro, agrum, agro. For the vocative, back to ager, but then the stem is agr again. Agri, agrorum, agris, agros, agris, agri. If you want to modify puer by the masculine adjective magnus, you use the forms that are listed next to amicus. So a great boy is a magnus puer. A great field is a magnus ager. In the genitive, magni pueri, or magni agri, etc., etc., notice that the vocative is magne puer, or magne ager. The last important point to make here is that gender is not the same thing as declension. If you recall, when we learned the first declension, we learned the noun nauta, nautai, masculine, which means sailor. Nauta, nautai is a first declension noun. Its endings follow the pattern that we learned in the previous chapter. The stem is naut, and we add the first declension endings. However, since it's a masculine noun, if you want to modify it with an adjective, you must choose the masculine adjective. In this case, it's magnus. Magnus happens to follow the second declension. So if you want to talk about a great sailor, you have to use nauta, first declension, magnus, second declension. So let's put our stem magna, and then the second declension endings. So nauta magnus, nautai magni, nautai magno, nautam magnum, nauta magno, nauta magne, nautai magni, nautarum magnorum, nautis magnis, nautas magnos, nautis magnis, and nautai magni. This noun, nauta nautai, is masculine and always will be masculine. It is also first declension and always will be first declension. The masculine adjective happens to be second declension. So we have a first declension noun, masculine, modified by a second declension adjective, also masculine. This brings us to the end of this lesson.